Hey guys, how you doing? Today is another Friday, November 4th. Yesterday I still realized Adobe is dropping for 5%. Actually, we've been analyzed Adobe for just the performance in September. That means about 2 months ago. And from the market's response, then her main drops of Adobe's stock price is just when she announced she will acquire Figma in 20 billion US dollar in about September something. And the response from the market that seems Figma is rubbish, right? So the actual Adobe's stock price been dropped at more than a half from the peak, right? From the peak about 700 US dollar, and now it's less than 300 US dollar, 280 something. And then we both know that 20 billion is not a small amount according to Adobe. But the thing is that I think for Figma's issue now has some turning points, right? So actually I want to do this program then to express my view on that. May not be 100% correct, but actually I think that Adobe's stock price already been adjusted for enough. So it's undervalued already, right? Maybe there is a turning point very soon. So this program is for expressing what I see for this acquisition, right? Okay, then our Falcon Portfolio, because then we have to be sorry that 2 days before, U.S. government the Fed been put up the interest rate. So actually the stock market's been going well and then suddenly going unwell, right? And our Falcon Portfolio been dropped from 47%, right? In these 2 days back to 34%. Then we will have a brief discussion on that. And if any of you want me to analyze on some of the subjects or the companies that you want to hear, so you can leave your message under the YouTube, or you can directly email to me by Usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. This is our Falcon 350,000 portfolio. Then we are nearly throughout this year, 2022, we've been in up and down with the Nasdaq performance, right? Dow Jones performance always low since we established this portfolio. And then always this portfolio been up and down with Nasdaq, right? Nasdaq 33, and then now we are 34. Maybe sometimes Nasdaq is 41, and then we are 40 something, right? So this is our covering. I don't think that Adobe will use 20 billion US dollar. 20 billion US dollar is not a small sum, right? To buy Figma. I don't think so. But the response on the stock price from the market, it seems Figma is a rubbish, which is I do not agree to that. So this is Dow Jones yesterday, then it's been struggling up and down, and finally it's down, right? But not a lot, just down by 146 points. And then for Nasdaq, it drops, always Nasdaq drops more than Dow Jones. I think the adjustment for Nasdaq is enough already. You can see that she's been down from 16,000 to 10,000, right? That's about 30% already for the adjustment. I think this adjustment is enough already. So in Thursday, very early or Thursday, then Fed put up the interest rate by 3/4, right? 0.75 percentage point interest rate hike means, what does it mean to you? It means to you that the liquidity of the market has been less, and then if you need to buy a house, if you want to borrow the money from the bank, whatever, then it will increase the cost, right? So actually, you can see that whenever there is, and it also means that way before Lehman Brothers, every time Fed put up the interest rate is because the economy has a good increment. But this time is different. This time is very different. This time is just because of the Ukraine and Russian war. So everything goes up, like the oils in Europe, something like that. So whenever there is no appropriate economic growth to cope with the increase of the interest rate, then the market sinks. So you can see that whenever Fed put up the interest rate, the market sinks. The market sinks not only in USA, not only in the States, nearly in the whole world, including India. But India has a good economic growth, so actually it's not very serious. So I have calculated for you. I have checked it. For the 10 years US Treasury bond yield, if you compare with 1 year, exactly 1 year before, it's increased by 2.7%, right? That means the Treasury bond yield increased for the whole this year is 2.7%. I think at the end of the interest rate increasing cycle, it will be increased to about 4 or 4.5. Then this story ends. This is what I think. And here in Hong Kong, then after we have the financial meetings with every gentlemen or ladies from the whole world for that meeting, then it's finished already. It finished yesterday about 12:30 in the afternoon. Then it's finished for 2.5 days, and then it seems happy. And then the Hang Seng Index been increased about 1,000, more than 1,600 points, right? That means more than 5%. Then maybe 8 or 10% already. Then we are looking forward to see if it can be prolonged, right? This is a good news to us. So we go to Adobe. There is a lot for me to say because I love this stock very much. I think it is a very good stock. Since I came out to work after I finished my school life, then there is Adobe. At the very beginning, it goes back to 1989 something, right? 1989, 1990 something. You still have to buy the disc, right? You still have to buy the disc. Then you have the AutoCAD, then you have the Adobe, and then you have to insert the disc into the computer. Then you can use the software, right? And then after so many years, then it's more than 20 years from now already, Adobe has been enhanced to a big software company. What for is for you to have your interior design, to have your electronic signature. Then you can use the program for designing the brochure or every graphics then you want to. I'm not an expert in this field, but my friend is. My friend is doing some art design, and he said that the program is very complicated. It's not a one-time program. This program been enhanced, and then Adobe been acquired so many small company in between this 20 years. So make up that it can support for the whole thing, for the whole world. Not only for the whole thing, it's also for the whole world. So it's not easy for you to establish another company, then you can compete with Adobe. It seems not possible. If you want to completely do what Adobe now is doing, then it seems not possible for you. Because their program, their software, their Creative Cloud, their Document Cloud, they've been accumulated for more than 20 or 30 years than up till today. It's not easy for you to suddenly, some program come out and you can compete with Adobe. This is not possible, right? So we can see that for the Adobe share price is terrible, right? It's not terrific, it's terrible. You can see that the peak is $700, and now is less than half, and then she has no dividends, right? And then the PE ratio now is 28, right? So we can see that what caused this big drop. Performance is bad? I don't think so, but not very bad. Then I will show you very soon, right? And then you can see that the big drop, she's been bounced back in September. But once she announced that she will acquire for the Figma for $20 billion, and then it suddenly drops much. It drops much. It drops from about 380, quickly dropped more than $100. And the market is very sad. It's depressed on this deal. Then does this deal really that bad? And just by yesterday, this deal is need to be reviewed by the DOJ. DOJ is the Department of Justice. Any antitrust, anything is against the law of the state, then we still have to see, right? It may not be a problem of just about the money. Maybe then she will have hand in hand with Figma and then become a monopoly, or something fall into the antitrust. And the point is, if this deal is over, there is no more, sorry, then you cannot carry on this deal, then Adobe may need to pay some penalty, right? But then the share price will quickly bounce back to 400, right? This is first turning point, right? So, and then the second turning point is that deal is really that bad. First of all, this acquisition may not dilute the shareholders like us. Our portfolio has this stock, and then I have this stock, right? And then they will pay half in the cash, and then half that means $10 billion in cash. And then remember, half is 10 billion. Then we will examine if Adobe has this cash, and then another half is by the stock. How about that if she got not enough cash, then she will issue the debt. The point is that it will not dilute the shareholders because she is not increasing, issuing more stock. But the point is then the debt will be increased. They need the same, right? But the point is like that is that the company is guaranteed that whenever the debt is increased, it would provide to repay it as soon as possible, and then resume the share buyback. I think this point is no good to the market, and the market immediately think that, oh, that means you may issue more debt, and then you will stop the buyback until you have more money. That's what the point, right? So the market immediately react very bad, and then the stock price quickly pumped by more than 100. That means nearly 400 down to 300. Actually, Figma, you can say that she is an emerger, right? But she is not young, right? This company is found in 10 years before, and then now she has 850 employees, right? Not big company as Adobe, but not very small, right? And the gross profit is 90% higher than Adobe because she is small, right? So not very important. And that the operating cash flow is a positive. And then we cannot see the performance report because she is not publicly listed, right? So we can only see the report after Adobe acquire it and then open to us. And the expected revenue for this year is 400 billion, right? Not small. And then it has a net dollar retention rate of more than 150%. That means she retained a lot of money, right? Growing very fast. Actually, I'm not an expert in her field. And then she is the leader of the collaborative design and prototyping. Don't ask me, I don't know what it is. I just know that it's highly implemented to what the Creative Cloud now is doing. And Figma's market share is 31.41%, while Adobe is about 50%. So actually, when they merge together, I think some is overlapping, right? When they merge together and they have their total share of the market, about 47%. So actually, it will be reviewed by the DOJ, right? Because seems you will be the monopoly in the market. No one can compete with you, right? So that is what the reason. So Figma is now getting started, right? Just getting started in the field. And the total addressable market is about 16.5 billion by 3 years later. 16.5. So you can see that if this market is keep on growing, and then you will know why Adobe used 20 billion to buy this company. Seems a little bit expensive to me as well, right? Seems a little bit expensive to me as well. But the point is, who knows, right? So Figma's technology improved Adobe as a whole, right? So you spend some time to read this article. Really, I don't really understand because that is quite technical to me. And then it just said that when then Figma's been implemented into Adobe, her ability in the collaborative design, it will help the Creative Cloud to become more professional in the drawing. Don't ask me, I don't know. Right? I'm not using that, right? So actually, I'm quite sure that Adobe will not buy it for nothing. And the key point is the 20 billion US dollar is too expensive. So we can take a look on the financial situation or the performance of Adobe just in the last quarter. We will have the performance maybe in December, right? Should be in December because this announced in September. So you can see that for the revenue, for LTM, that means the right-hand side. You can see that for past 12 months, if you compare with 1 year before, 2021, which is the peak, the revenue is growing, right? More than that. Gross profit, more than that. Operating income, more than that, although it's just few percent. And the net income, nearly the same, right? So we know that for 2020 to 2021, it increased too much. Because of the work from home of the COVID-19. So now we restore to normal. I think it's okay. And don't forget that now the US dollar is very strong, right? And Adobe is worldwide. So actually, it may make Adobe less net income, maybe more than 10% more because of the strong US dollar. And the percentage of the OM operating margin fell by 1%, and then net income margin also fell by 1.5%. I do not think that this is very bad, right? If you take off that green triangle, it's normal. So this is another. So actually, whenever you examine a performance report, always examine the cash. If it is not showing any cash flowing, then throw this away. No use. You can easily make it profitable. You have the profit or you have less profit. But the cash flow is most important thing. The cash flow, how much cash you can generate, how much cash you have, what is the short investment, right? For net income or net income rate, or worse, the gross profit rate, no use to me, right? If they miss those data, throw that performance report away. No use to you, right? You can see the cash generated from the operation is more than 1 year before. Right? Of course, we have to deduct something, deduct the expenditure, but at least that cash is being generated. Right? Capital expenditure more than 1 year before, which is good. And then the free cash flow is more than that. You know that what is the free cash flow? Free cash flow means that the cash that you will not be used in maybe half or 1 year is excessive. So it acts like a safety margin, right? So we can calculate. So you can see that it is 7.1 billion US dollar, not up to 10. So actually, I think Adobe may use 5 billion US dollar and then borrow another 5 billion US dollar because she has to retain some cash, right? That means she has to use 5 billion US dollar from the free cash flow, and then she will borrow another 5 US dollar from the cash flow, from the bank, whatever, and then for another, then she will use the stock, maybe from the board of director, then to settle the deal, right? So we can see that there's figures, then I cannot deceive you, right? And the percentage of free cash flow margin, a little bit less, 2%. But that's healthy because 2021, because of the COVID-19, because of the work from home, it's unexpectedly high, right? And this is the point that market dislike because it will decrease the free cash flow, right? And then the return on the asset then is 14.4%, which is good, right? A little bit better than 1 year before. And the return on capital is 32. And the return on equity, that means on the stock, of course, it's been dropped, right? So it's 33.4. If we take off that sharp points from the green line, then it's normal, right? So this is even more clear, the total cash and short-term investment, right? 5,764 million US dollar. And the total debt is 64641. Actually, at this point, Adobe is a net cash company unless she bought Figma, right? And the retained earning is not bad, better than 1 year before. And the total share on filing is a little bit less because she bought it back. So the finance story is like that, right? Then I think that she may use 5 billion US dollar and then borrow 5 billion US dollar for 10 billion to buy Figma. And then another 10 billion, then she may use her own stock to settle it, right? So the shareholder is not diluted. But the buyback and then the finance situation may suddenly becomes not very good unless then Figma then gets some cash back, right? So we need to see. So I have posted the original one, so we can check it out. For the cash and cash equivalent, and then added the short-term investment, you can add it by yourself, is 5.7, then you can add it by yourself, right? So, and for the, I don't like the goodwill is very high, right? Forget about the goodwill, right? And other intangible net. Whenever you need to sell the company, then that is worth 0. Whenever you need to sell the company, then it's 0, no use, right? And then for trade payable, that means the liability and the debt, then you can also add by yourself, right? And then the long-term debt is 4.1 billion US dollar, right? It's 3.6 billion US dollar, right? So you can add up by yourself, just the figures, just we go through, right? And then there is the revenue. You can see that the revenue is better than, no matter it's in a quarter or 3 quarters, then it's better than 1 year before. Of course, that the cost of revenue is also higher because of the salary, inflation, something like that. We've been go through that for so many times. And then the operating expense increased by, wow, 20%, right? And then for 9 months increased by more than 10%, right? And net income's been dropped a little bit for 3 months, and then for 9 months still the same. It doesn't matter to me, right? Because this kind of thing does not mean that the stock price need to be pumped by more than 50%, right? So you can see that always you have to examine this part. This part is super important. You can see that the net cash provided by the operating activity. I know that afterwards you have to deduct the expenditure, right? Everything you spend out. But the point is then for at least you have to have the cash in first. No in, anything out, there's no meaning. That means you are lost, right? So this part is very important. The net cash provided by the operating activity then is better. It's better than 1 year before. It's for 9 months, 5.5 billion. And then 1 year before is 5.1 only, right? And then this is quickly, you can see that for no matter is Creative Cloud, Document Cloud, digital media, digital experience, or the small potato, publishing and advertising. Only publishing and advertising is not as good as 1 year before. All the others, the revenue is better than 1 year before, no matter it's 1 quarter or 3 quarters. So the point is like that everything related to the Figma, if this acquisition is gone, that means not approved because of antitrust. Maybe the stock price will quickly jump back to 400 or very close to 100. And even that they do the acquisition, and then I think that stock price now 280 something already overreacted for that, right? Unless Figma is really a rubbish, right? That means it can generate nothing. And then she has a lot of debt that Adobe not even been examined. Otherwise, I think this price now is already the bottom. That means the worst condition. Of course, then the interest rate increasing factor, we still have to count it, right? Because the interest rate is increasing, right? But the point is, I think this price is already undervalued already, right? So keep your close eyes on Adobe. Then if the result is good, then it may have a quick rebound, right? And I still think that she is not easy to be replaceable by any of the software company now in the world, right? Okay, so we share up till now. Thanks for watching, and then please give us a like. Any comment is appreciated. Then please help to press the subscribe button, right? And then press the bell icon next to it. So whenever there is new video uploaded, YouTube will inform you. Okay, I hope everyone have a very peaceful Friday and weekend. See you next week. Bye bye.